Conference perception, conference reality. TCU giveth and TCU taketh away. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. We break down the game we all love each and every day with you. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. We ask that you would like the video, share the videos out on social media, and subscribe. Hit that bell for the notifications to know when we go live. We broke down the ACC. Check out that video. Now we're checking out the results from the 2022 season in the Big 12. The conference won its first college football playoff game. Woo! 9-year playoff series, and the Big 12 finally gets on the board. Oklahoma was the only team that had made the college football playoff from the Big 12, and now TCU steps in and takes down mighty Michigan. However, of course, it all came crashing down against a dominant Georgia squad, 65-7. Let's look at the results from the Big 12. They played 39 games outside the conference. We're going to size them up, but first we got to seed the teams. The seeding of the teams is awfully important because we have to give context to each win. If a champion of a particular conference defeats the last place team in another conference, sure, you get credit for that, but not a whole lot, as opposed to defeating a like-seeded or higher-seeded team from another conference. The Big 12 looks like this. The champion is Kansas State, even though TCU is, of course, the highest-ranked team. Texas at number 3, they finished at 8-5. It was not a banner season for the Big 12. Texas Tech would surprise many as the 4th seed in the conference, followed by Oklahoma State. Baylor, a couple teams that lost bowl games, as did Oklahoma and Kansas. West Virginia and Iowa State were the two teams that failed to make postseason play out of the Big 12. The conference went 2-7 in bowl play, and of course the big win was the mighty win against the Michigan Wolverines, 2-6 against Power 5 teams, as Baylor lost to Air Force 30-15 in one of the coldest bowl games of all time. Add it all up in terms of non-conference play, and the Big 12 went 27-12, 9-10 against the Power 5. Most of those wins came in September. Then the Big 12 again had a poor postseason showing against the group of 5, 10 wins in 12 games, and perfect against FCS teams. Couple notable games against non-Power 5 qualifiers, and of course Tulane put themselves on the map with an early win against Kansas State, and then the Green Wave turned out to be the number 1 team in the group of 5, so not a horrible loss for Kansas State, even though your conference champion lost to a group of 5, and then again the aforementioned Baylor loss against Air Force. The Big 12 won 9 games against the Power 5. Let's check out those results, and it's not just about going 9-10. What is the context of those results in regards to the seeding, and also the point differential will tell us something as well. We start with the baseline of 14 points because there are 14 teams in the Big 10, the SEC, and the ACC, and we understand 12 and 10 in the other two conferences. We used to do all the crazy decimal points and fractions, but we did away with that to make it much simpler. So we start every game on the basis of it being worth 14 points, and then we add and subtract based on the seeding difference. For the Big 12, Kansas State went outside of conference and defeated Mizzou of the SEC by 4 touchdowns. Therefore, that's a 4-point game because that's a 10-point difference in the seeding, so you got to take away that from the 14 original points. TCU with wins over Michigan and Colorado, of course. Texas Tech with a big Texas Bowl victory over Ole Miss by 17 points. So that's 11 points for the Big 12. On down the line, you don't see a whole lot of impressive wins, although Kansas over a 5th-seeded Duke team out of the ACC was a nice win for the Big 12. West Virginia defeated Virginia Tech, the worst team in the ACC, by seeding, and Iowa State with a nice win, though, over Iowa, as the Hawkeyes finished at 8-5 as the 6th seed in the Big 10. So 18 big points. So that's 14 points, plus the seeding difference adds on 4 more points for the Big 12, 18 points for the Big 12. The Big 12 lost 10 games against the other Power 5 conferences. Kansas State bloodied by Bama in the Sugar Bowl. There you see the TCU loss to Georgia, of course, in the national championship game. That's a 13-point loss for the Big 12 because that's a 1 versus a 2. Texas lost to Bama by just 1 point, but it is a loss for the Big 12. Texas also lost to Washington in the Alamo Bowl. Texas Tech went to NC State in September and lost a football game by 2 touchdowns. Oklahoma State, a loser in bowl play against Wisconsin. There you see other postseason failures by the Big 12. Oklahoma State losing to Wisconsin by a touchdown. Baylor went down to Air Force, as we noted. Oklahoma acquitted itself extremely well against Florida State in the Cheez-It Bowl, but came up empty on a last-second field goal. Arkansas played a tremendous game, and the Jayhawks came way back to challenge the Razorbacks, but they lose at 55-53. West Virginia loses to Pitt as well. The point differential actually on the side of the Big 12, despite losing one more game than they won against the Power 5. They outscored those opponents by 37 points. The seeding differential is not pretty for the Big 10. The seeding differential is not pretty for the Big 12 at minus 50. There it is. Those are the results of the Big 12 put into context. We will march through the Big 10, the SEC, and the Pac-12 next, then we'll add it all up. Leave your comments below right here at the Voice of College Football.